Uh,
Hello guys and welcome back. In today's video I'm here with one and only Bernes. Bernes, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate you on the Concho show.
I know, we all do. So, uh, today we wanted to talk about what has happened since the summer in Infinity Magicraid. So, let's start when Lydia got released. So, many people were upset because they didn't expect another limited hero, right?
That is true. I mean, there was speculation, obviously, because that is a pretty big chunk of this game. Limited heroes are one of the key things that are in this game and not in most games. So people had speculation, but they also had hope that there wasn't going to be any new releases.
Yeah, same here. I didn't expect Lydia to be released that summer. I mean, obviously, we could have expected something because it's summer and it would be way too long until like Halloween or something or something to happen. So we had Lydia coming one way or another. So how how did you feel when you find out that Lydia gonna be released, or rather that a new limited hero will be coming to game?
So, in all honesty, I played many gacha games in my past, many years. I'm an old man, and so I played, for example, in RSL. They had limited heroes like Ninja. He came in through that he's a big streamer. He plays Fortnite or whatever. And they had limited hero. We log in for 7 days and you grab him. He was good, but he wasn't top tier anything essentially because he has specific mechanics for only specific areas and so on and so forth. So he was easy to get, free to get, and so on and so forth. And so with the past limited heroes we had, obviously Santa Claus is up there in the toppest of top tiers. Panda is, pretty much up there as well, especially in PvP. I mean, we had Estra as well, who's a speed demon, essentially. I mean, we had Little Jack before the buff was forgetful, but everybody was okay with it. And then Lydia came. So Lydia, essentially, we thought that she would just be a replacement for Space because of the, you know, fact that she can change the turn meter and so on and so forth, but nobody actually read into it too much. They just thought it was a nice, summer event. It was going to be a nice summer hero. And then we got her. So once we got her, we saw her true power and we started using her in PvP, which, was expected, being the fact that she basically goes first almost always, or if she's, she get her meter down and then she boosts the attack, she boosts the crit damage resistance. I mean, she is obviously an amazing hero. And then you got the fact that you can use her in PvE as well, which is also one of the best heroes to use currently in Guild Boss. So it was a big bite to eat essentially. And I did like it at first, but then I realized not everybody has it or not everybody could get it at that time. And I did feel bad, obviously. But as we'll know, as you'll find out soon in this video, things have changed. And we will wait for that, in slow foreshadowing. But yeah, it's looking forward to it.
Yeah, like when Lydia came out, when I found out that another limited hero will be coming, I was like, do we really need it? Because we had like Santa, we had Pauline, Esther, and Little Jack. Then I was like, all right, let's see what she's about. And then when I got home, I saw like her passive is such a long text that I didn't even bother to like read it or anything. Like I was just nah, I can't deal with that right now. But yeah, Lydia changed everything, especially PvP meta. Like Brynhild one was of the key heroes in the meta before Lydia got released, and Lydia kinda sent Brynhild to like C or even B tier in PvP, but we will not talk about Arena that much. So yeah, then after we got Lydia, then we had some okay events. Then championship was released, or that was before Lydia, or it was
It was,
after
it's actually, yeah.
after Lydia. Yeah. Then championship, everyone saying it's like for it's paid to win content, end game content, which is kinda agreed. But I feel like everyone can have a little bit of
Well,
fun in a championship. Like even low low spenders and like it's not that huge of a pay to win. But of course, like if you want to top 64th, then yes, you need like to be Kraken.
Well, let me just quick little input on why championship actually is a thing. They didn't plan that. originally. It wasn't really on the table. It was brought up by somebody in the Discord server. I will not mention the name. And so basically, he stated that it was fun to watch people compete, right? Especially if you're a low spender or free to play or maybe a mid spender at this point. It was fun to watch others, Krakens and whales compete, like, Klee, Bailey, and Joe's Killer, and all those people that actually, put hours and hours and thousands of dollars in the game. And so you could basically strategize off of their strategy. You could see what they use and then better your game. And then in the meantime, you pick, and if you win, you win. If you lose, you still get some kind of reward. So the main idea was to just see what they do to better your game, and then also win some prizes at the beginning. That was the main idea. Now, sadly, the community has kind of taken it a different way. Where yeah, it's hard to get in top 64, and yes, majority of the fights are essentially for most of the community at 4 a.m. or a minute before. So even if you're top 30, before you go to sleep, you could be top 700 when you wake up. And that is sadly the reality. And there is tweaks to be done, or that should be done to change that. But overall, I think Championship was a good addition to the game.
Yes, agreed. Like even for me that I'm not a high spender or anything. Let's say I'm mid spender or kind of. I mean, let's say I'm a mid spender. Like for me, it's like it's doable for me to be in top 64. But then again, reset is at 4 a.m. my time, and like me staying up till 4 a.m. is kinda hard, especially when work and everything else. But yeah, it's fun content where you can learn a lot, like from top players, like you said, Klee, even Yuzuki is a great one. Then BJ and players like that you can learn from. But yeah, like hopefully they will do something or rather adjust something when it comes to championship because that time zone is really bad for Europe. So yeah. Then after that like we had like Penta return and Esther return. It was like July, right? Like
I think so. It was towards the end of July. Essentially, it was almost week to week, like behind each other.
yes, yes. So, and how did you feel about that?
So the reasoning behind it, I understood. I still think that it should have been skipped, but I know why they did it. And I try to tell people that too, but I mean, I understand their frustration. I mean, it's people can't save that quickly, especially if they're, low spenders, mid spenders, free to play. They wanted to finish the rotation before they continue because they currently have a rotation at which limited hero comes next, and it was Panda then Astra in that time. So they wanted to do it before the anniversary because, as you know, anniversary brought a brand new limited hero. And so if they didn't do that, then they would have to think of a new rotation and then new plan to do with future releases and so on and so forth. I didn't like it, but I understood it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either because when I found out that Panda is returning, back then I think E1 or E0. I think I had E0 Panda, and I was like, alright, so Panda is coming. I will summon for it. Then obviously I didn't get him. Like I spent like 300 excellence and 20 supremes. I didn't get any single copy of him, and I was like, alright, okay, it is what it is. Then 2 weeks later, we had Esther return, and I really wanted Esther so badly because like for Cleave team you need Esther E3 of course, like at E1 or E2 she's okay, but for speed team you need her to be E3. And I was like, alright, let me go all in on Esther. I did get one copy from that minigame, got her to E1, and then I was purely unlucky with wishes. Like that hurt so much. Like, and I know like Mina will remember my pulling video. That was such a pain to watch. So yeah, that was that. And then we were getting prepared for big anniversary event. So
Hmm.
Bernes, what do you think about anniversary?
I mean, in all honesty, they were extremely generous in the anniversary, and it lasted 2 weeks. Usually, anniversaries last, I don't know, 3 to 5 days, right? I mean, it's essentially anniversary is one day because it happened that day, it didn't happen that week. You can't have anniversary that week, but they were extremely generous. They did 2 whole weeks, and they literally gave you a chest of limited heroes for free, and one of the limited heroes in there was Santa, which was and it still is based at the top tier of limited heroes. Pollen was a choice. I mean, it's like I said, they actually did a really good job in terms of that. They even gave us legendary eye. They give us a mythic conversion stone, which we all know is extremely expensive in the store. So anytime you get that, and also with all these mythic updates, we all needed that. I mean, whoever you are, we know Lucifer is not that guy anymore. You want somebody else, right? So they did a really good job planning it. They had space temples temporarily. They gave amazing rewards, and honestly, I think they did a really good job in terms of the anniversary. So yeah.
Yeah, like even from free to play perspective, anniversary was such a good event. Like everyone could get one limited hero, well, like 100%, and then there were some people that got even two limited heroes by just being lucky when buying that three daily eggs. So
Mhm.
anniversary was really a good event. Um, then before that we got Echoes introduced. So what do you think about Echoes?
Oh, the ecosystem's a big one. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's better than ours, right? Because if leveled up and if you have multiple copies, they literally are a game changer. You can increase the attack rate. For example, the new one that came out this morning, the Poppers one, or you can, the mastery is a huge one. If you're really unlucky with rolls, you can, get some nice mastery from the echoes. And in general, does if you play it right, the side stats or the other explanation or whatever it's called, it's huge help. I mean, it could be basically the difference between you one keying Guild Boss 6 or two keying it, or even if it's a difference between your effect res on Henge or on Lydia or whatever the case you need, right? So it's huge. It is also they introduced a system where you can transfer if you don't need wishes because you already have everything you need, right? Which I think most of the community doesn't. But I think that part of the community that does have it, they can still transfer wishes, which I think was a nice addition. I don't, not many games do that, right? But the ecosystem in general, I think, is well played out. They could introduce it, for example, in Guild Boss rewards, right? They could introduce it in some other places where they can come out more often. You can actually, try to get better ones more often. But besides that, I think they did a really good job with it, and it's a huge game changer. It really is.
Yes, especially like as you said, if you can't get enough mastery, like on Anita, you could always go for mastery echo that will boost your mastery. Then again, yes, I agreed with you. Like it would be like if they kind of update that guild boss rewards. Like they're okay, but those rewards are kind of outdated. Like maybe if you add like echoes here for dealing like 400 million damage to Gilbos, you could add like echoes to as reward, because what we can get echoes only like from wishes, like, and that's like 100 per week, and then obviously we can buy echoes, but yeah, like that's not like optimal. I mean, if you're a Kraken, you will buy it no matter what. And then the other event where you can get echoes is from Broken Land, but then
Mhm.
you can't get that many echoes. Like you get like something like 50, I think, or something. So I think
Mhm.
they need to like put echoes somewhere that many people can obtain them easily, because like this way, I mean, it's a great thing that we can convert excellent runes to echoes. Like that's a
Mhm.
great thing. Like if you're, as you said, if you're endgame player, you don't really need the wishes anymore because you got everything you need. So yeah, echoes was a really nice thing that came out. So Bernes, let's talk about well, recently we all know that you quit the game. So could you tell us a little bit more, why did you decided to quit?
Well, that's a very tricky subject, right? Because obviously, not just for the fact of my status in the community. I mean, I feel like I'm just still a part of you guys. I don't feel anything any special because my tag is hard to see in that specific blue neon blue that you guys see. I don't see it. Sure, I have a few more permissions than you guys, but this community itself has been amazing. I mean, from day one, there was because okay, so usually I play specific games. I can last maybe maximum 7 days, but if the community is good it can last for years, right? Or if the community is bad, it ends up in 7 days and I quit the game. So I fell into this, and I joined the mod team quite early. And I met people like Juarmu. I met in the One Hope Guild, Hako, and all those players that took me in with open arms and basically taught me the game. But besides that, a lot of players around. I mean, from all sides. I mean, even like for some Mad Life, Hoxer, all those players that helped me and taught me and spoke with me kept me interested. And then obviously through the months and obviously to the end of the year, towards the end of the year of IMR, everybody's just getting along because we have this huge core of players now that have been loyal to the game and the community itself, and it's an amazing place. But sadly, life hits you hard like a truck sometimes, and I've been recently under a lot of stress time wise, and I just could not take basically because what I used to do is I used to take my kid to the daycare and then play for an hour and then start work. Well, that hour before work, I could easily prepare for work or prepare something else to be productive at work. On top of that, while I'm at work, I'm also on Discord helping and talking to you guys. So it kind of, takes my attention away from work. And I've seen my kind of production kind of drop. So I really need to concentrate more on, life and then work in general. And I just sadly don't have time for it anymore. I wish I did. It's still like, in my opinion, not a great game. I just can't, sadly.
Yeah, agreed. Like Infinity Magic got such a great community. Like I've never been part of a better community than ever. Like this is the first game that I became content creator because I like the game. Like I even started making videos like 6 months before I even became content creator because I loved community, and especially back then when I was guild leader, I was helping my members, like showing them what to do, how to do, and stuff. So yeah, Infinity Magicraid got such a great community, and yeah, life sometimes hits hard, and yeah, but like it happens. But who knows? Maybe one day you will return. Like you never know. So
You never know.
yeah. So tell me, how did you feel when you found out that another limited hero will be released during anniversary?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, so I usually do know some information before everybody else does, but that comes with the perks of being good friends with Jonas and and the rest of the team. I mean, it just perks of that. But I was still shocked. But I was even more shocked when I found out how strong she was. But besides that point, I was, I was shocked. I mean, I was expecting a new legendary hero or two, but I wasn't expecting a limited hero. And she is also up there with Lydia in terms of game changing, right? She really was. But before I continue on this, I just want to quickly touch up on the fact of the difference between summer and today, right? Or anything up until Henge or Henge 3, whatever her name is, Heng, whatever. So in terms of their change in their mood towards the lower spenders and free to play, this is not me talking because I know Jonas will listen to this. I know some devs will probably too. I'm not saying that because of that. I know they will, but I'm not saying because of that. They actually have looked more towards lower spenders. And you guys have to admit, all the listeners have to admit, they've given out a lot more rewards recently. They've given out a lot more places or areas you can get rewards. They've given out a lot more either free stuff or really cheap stuff or stuff you can buy with gems only. And they really are moving towards a great direction. Is it too late? I personally don't think so. I think this game still has quite a while before anything drastic happens to where it died, right? Because we've seen games that came out after IMR that still don't exist anymore or shouldn't exist anymore, and IMR has a strong community and has kept strong with it. But what's the difference between IMR and most other games is the devs actually and Jonas and Doris actually listen to the community. We complain so much. I mean, you should see how Demon chat is and CC chat, all that stuff. We complain so much about specific things because we want to better the game. And they have listened to a majority of the stuff. And I think that's what kept it going. So, I mean, everything besides all that thing aside, all the limited heroes coming out, all the stuff you can buy coming out, all the limiteds consistently coming out, and new ones, and so on and so forth. They still have done a great job giving us a lot of wishes, a lot of gems, a lot of epic eyes, legendary eyes, and so on and so forth. So I just want to give kudos to them for that.
Yeah, like EMR is more free to play friendly now than it was ever before. Like you
Mhm.
especially like during anniversary, you got so much stuff for free or like for a few bucks. So yeah, EMR has changed, and it's on it has a bright future, I would say. We will see what will happen next, like in 2 3 months, what they have planned for us and stuff. But however, EMR is on a right way to
Mm.
shine right now.
So, only if you guys knew what there's plans. I'm not trying to cause any hype, but
Yeah, I believe it's something great. I believe
mm.
I have faith in them. I have faith
I
in
don't
them.
too often, man. I don't too often, but when I do, I.
Yeah, if you do that, then we know something is coming, and that's big.
Mm,
Something big is coming.
mm, mm.
Yeah, but well, when I realized that Henge will be released, I was like, not
Mm.
not another limited hero. Like, how many? How many limited heroes will we get?
Yeah, yeah. It was a shock. It was a, I mean, I wouldn't say too soon because the last new one was Lydia in summertime,
True.
but it was too soon to become that OP. I
Yes.
mean, to this day, for example, I mean, that secret level 4 and level 5 in EC, she basically soloed it for me, right? One of those two. She basically soloed it for me. And I mean, she's that strong. But besides PvE, we all know she's amazing in PvP. She with the strip buffs, she protects, she attacks for you. You know, she has amazing effect resistance if built right. She has amazing attack if built right. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't too happy about it, but I got lucky and pulled 4 of her in the summons. So I wasn't too sad for myself, but I did feel the pain in the community. The community did complain, and I do understand because I know there's a few people that quit recently because they just couldn't keep up. I mean, the last since summer, since Lydia and then Henge here, they just couldn't keep up anymore. They were low spenders. Sure, they spent like 40, 50 euros a month, which is low in
Yeah.
IMR. And I mean, I know they quit because they tried really hard to keep up. They played continuously daily. They pulled wishes on time. They saved and so on. They just couldn't keep up, so they just decided to quit. And I think that's the same story for a lot of people. So I mean, hopefully things do change. And I mean, but also the good news is they bring back limited so often now that you will have multiple choices. So even if you, for example, didn't get Little Jack this time around in the last, banner, he might come back. Actually, he came back in the wheel today, right? I mean,
Yes.
you guys seen the
Yes.
Harper event. So and if you can't pull him then, I'm sure he'll be back pretty soon as well because they do repeat him a lot more often now since there is a rotation. So there is a chance still, right?
Yeah, and also, so when Henge came out, like she, even if someone got her at E0, she's fine. Like, she is fine
Mm-hmm.
at E0. Like, you,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if you want her to deal damage and stuff, you need her E3. But like, if you got one copy, if you got Henge, you're good to go. She can protect you at E0. That's all you need.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Exactly. And
So
that's yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so like you don't need her. So I think she is the only limited hero that is usable at E0. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe so. I can't think of any other one that. I mean, Lydia could be usable, but not in high ranking arena or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
But besides that, yeah, I think Heng is the only one that's actually usable anywhere, everywhere. So yeah.
yeah. So what would you? I know that you stopped playing, but what would you like? Hope that they will change now and that will be better in a couple of months. Like if you know anything or if you have any idea, what would you suggest them to change?
Well, I mean, I know a few things, but I'm not going to say anything because, for obvious reasons. But they're already introducing one thing, which I mentioned in the community not too long ago, which is a huge change. Yes, it won't be an overnight project. And yes, it is another way for players to keep playing, which is, in all, a good thing. The fragments for the limited heroes that they're bringing, huge. That's huge.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not, I mean, I don't know specifically which limited heroes. I mean, I'm hoping and I'm assuming they're going to be all, right? But even if it's just Santa or Panda or Bunny or, whatever, even if it's just those first half of them, that's still huge. Imagine Santa E3. I couldn't beat any dungeons over level 35 until I pulled a third Santa or E3 Santa, right? So, I mean, that's huge. And how they're going to do it, I don't know. When they're going to do it, I also don't know. But I believe if done right, like for example, the Mystic Shards, they did that right. They did the right thing there. Because even if you're doing huge damage in the weekly boss, which we forgot to mention by the way, even if you do huge damage in the weekly boss, you can still get, it still takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get one Mystic Shard to go to Mystic level, right?
true, true.
Or Mythic, sorry, not Mystic, Mythic level. So they did that right. They didn't put it as a drop rate in dungeons or something, right? So they did it right. You have to actually, I mean, it's up there with the mythic shards itself to get mythic heroes. So again, they did that right. And if they do fragments the same way, but maybe even release a new dungeon or something, or put it in a space temple somewhere, I think it's gonna be a huge change. But what I want to see besides that introduced, I want to see more activity on the side of guild bosses. Because I mean, I think you mentioned before, or some other mentioned community before. Guild Boss 6 is old news, right?
Yeah.
It's old news. Guild Boss 7 should be new, and he should be challenging. He should be up. He should be one of the hardest bosses to even take down or even get the max rewards for. So he should be up there. But the way that it has been going, okay, so I'm in multiple communities on Discords, and I'm in a different community in terms of the guilds and stuff. And I've helped some people get to 2 key Guild Boss 6. It's not that easy if you're free to play or a low spender, right? So 2 key Guild Boss 6 is, it's hard. 400 million damage it's hard to do, even if you're 2 keying. And they managed to do it, but only because in the past few months they released so many strong burn heroes or bleed heroes or in general just heroes, right? So Guild Boss 7 will probably eventually be also like Guild Boss 6, but I think it's going to take a lot longer, and I want that included. In terms of PvP, I personally don't like the skip button. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people want to just skip the fight because it sometimes can take too long, especially Advanced Arena can take too long. I
Yeah.
don't like it. It makes things too idle, and it's not really helping you get better. You just copy somebody else and then you press play, right? But what I want to see is something. So you know how in Space Temple you can walk around and solve puzzles, right? With that little figure,
Yeah.
the guy on the
Yeah.
horse, right? I want to see PvP in that sense, where you're moving from. You can select, for example, you have let's see 50 opponents in front of you, right? And you can select which one you want to go to first to fight. So you walk with that person to that area, and then you go into a fight. It's like something, for example, if you play Pokemon, you go in the grass and encounter a wild Bailey. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you get to fight in that kind of sense. It makes it more strategic, and you can choose areas, you can choose your limits, and that actually could be an update for Brave Trial, for example. That could be put in that way as well. So you're not just thrown into the fire of when you're on the 10th level, then you're fighting, basically a wall, right? So you can choose your opponents.
Yeah, I hope that they will introduce more space temples. Like we got like 20 right now, and I really hope that in future they're gonna release more space temples because I like it. Like those puzzles to solve, and rewards are also decent. Like you get some excellent runes, stamina, coins, or rather gold. So yeah, when it comes to Guild Boss level 7, I think like we need it. Like not maybe right now, but in future, Guild Boss level 7, sure, why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
again,
Sure.
yes, like so many good burn heroes were released, and then again, like to 1 key level Guild Boss level 6, you need like specific heroes. Like let's be honest, if you have Little Jack E3, there is nothing like 1 king is so easy. Like pretty much, Little Jack is needed for Guild Boss if you want to like 1 key it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then for Guild Boss level 7, yeah, they need to make it more challenging than it is for Guild Boss level 6. And I would
Right.
like to uh, um, say one more thing. It's about like when you go to heroes, and then when you go to
Mm-hmm.
like equipments, that you need to remove each piece on its own. Like we would love to have remove all button, and then it would remove all artifacts and gear on the hero because it's so time consuming to remove so many
Mm-hmm.
heroes. Like we need that remove all button, and I hope that devs will be watching this video and they will put it soon because it's
Mm-hmm.
so much time consuming, especially for me when I decided to like change gear and stuff. Like I lose like around 1 hour just to remove
Mm-hmm.
gear to then put it back all again. So yeah, it's really time consuming. We need that remove all button for gear.
Do you know do you know what else we really need?
What?
We need free regression forever, right? I mean, I think when I played, I had, I don't know, maybe 60, 50 heroes built, right? And maybe 10 of them were like level 100, 120. They weren't like 150, right? And I was using a lot for Faction Abyss, for Tower, for Advanced Arena, Classic Arena, whatever, right? Guild Boss. Yeah, that was my core hero. But that was like, I don't know, 30 of them, 25 of them. The others were just basically collecting dust. And I didn't want to, or I didn't have any regression potions. So I think they should offer free regression for life, forever. I mean, it wouldn't cost too much because I don't know how many people are actually buying potions on the shop, right? So I think that would be a nice addition for them because, I mean, let's be honest, food is not a problem. The problem is XP pots. And I think it takes 100 What was it? 150? No, it was more than that. To get to level 150, it was using the biggest supreme pots or the biggest XP pots. I forgot how many it was exactly,
Yeah,
but it was a
but
lot.
yeah, it was lots. So yeah, like I mean, regression first. Like I'm endgame player, obviously, and like I got nothing to like regress. Like I'm just like saving wishes. Obviously I needed to pull because I need sanctuary. My sanctuary is only 12k, but like I got no one to regress, no one to build because even if I build random hero, he will not help me anywhere. Only for sanctuary. So yeah, food is not the problem, but the other problem is legendary scrolls. Like I
Ah,
can't get them enough. Like it's so hard to get them. So hard.
yeah, I think they should. 'Cause I know there was a suggestion a few times where they should make a dungeon to drop money and drop scrolls, right? Because so currently you have, a better chance to get a rare piece of equipment than a legendary equipment, right?
Yeah.
So if they made a dungeon where you can wait, it's like 90% chance to get an epic scroll, or 10% chance to get a legendary scroll. I think it's fair, right? And those dungeons can be hard fights or long fights because obviously you can just fight 10 times and there you go, one legendary scroll. But I think if done right, I think that would be a good addition.
Yes. Yes. And like let's talk a little bit for the end because this video is already like we're half hour in. So about elemental city, like those rewards are kind of like we get like we get some 3-star dragon egg, like a little bit of stamina, a little bit of gems. We get like I think we get one legendary or two legendary scrolls, but rewards kind of feeling underwhelming when like when and it's hard content. Like don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
like it's I mean they change it to like common is till stage 60 and then we got hard mode from level 60 to 75, but we need a little bit of better rewards because like when there is a reset, like I don't feel like doing elemental slit, like I'm just too lazy to do it. So we need a little bit of change in rewards in elemental city. What do you think about that?
So yes and no. At the same time, yes, you need better rewards. I mean, obviously, it is hard content, especially the last two bosses or last three bosses, more specifically. Yeah, they're very hard. You have to have specific champions, specific strategies, and so forth. Yes. But one thing they did to combat that is if you pass the previous month, you don't have to do the first 59 levels, right? I think that's pretty good. I think that they did a great job on that because if they would give more rewards for the first 59 levels, you basically get free 59 things that you wouldn't have before or bigger, better ones, right? So if they introduced bigger rewards on the last three bosses, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Maybe two epic eyes, for example, right? Make to kind of get the legendary eye faster, right? Or if you introduce 5 legendary scrolls or 50 million gold, something like that, right? Because we all know 50 million gold isn't that much when you're actually trying to upgrade a piece to level 20, right?
True, true.
So, I mean, I think yes, they do need it, but they've also combated it a little bit by basically making it idle for 59 levels.
Yes, that's time saving. Like that skip 60 floors is time saving. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
Bernice, do you have any last words?
No, I mean, I'll still be around the community for a bit longer. I have some things planned for the community or for the Discord itself before I leave. One is directly towards you, Concho. You're gonna love it. Actually, you're gonna hate it, but I'm gonna love it.
I,
And
I,
then
I
I'll
think I think I know what you're talking about. I think I
Uh,
know.
well, yeah, yeah, you'll see. Besides that, but then after that, I'm gonna probably leave the community, and I mean, again, amazing community, but just life hits you like a truck, and you just have to. So again, I want to thank everybody in the community from the bottom of my heart for being who they are and how they are, regardless of the times we butt heads. I muted a few people, Concho, cough cough, and
Yeah,
I
I
muted
know.
a few others,
I know.
banned some, kicked some. So again, besides all that, I mean, regardless, people are still amazing. So I want to thank everybody for being who they are and how they are in the community, and hope everybody has an amazing, time in IMR, and may the luck and RNGs be on their side.
Yeah, and we all know that you mute me once per day. Like it has to be done. Like, it's like a rule, you know. You have to
It's
mute me
tradition.
once per day.
It's tradition. I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, at least 5 minutes, right? It's tradition,
True. Yeah,
right?
it's
But usually the thing is, you sneak out to drink coffee, so it doesn't even
yeah,
count like a
true.
mute.
So it doesn't really matter because usually when you mute me, I go drink coffee, and when I'm back, I'm
Yes,
back. So yeah.
Next time you're typing like a huge comment to say to somebody, regardless of what it is, I'm just gonna mute you before you send it.
Actually,
Just to
you
miss.
you did it once. Like I wanted to write something, and you just muted me, and I couldn't finish the sentence. So you
Hey
actually
man,
already did that.
no,
So
my job is complete then.
yeah,
My job is complete.
yes, indeed. So Bernes, thank you for joining me here today. Hope you had a great time, and
I did.
I hope we will collab one more time before you leave. At least one more time.
Ah, well, we'll do. We'll have to, man. We'll have to. It was fun being here, talk about the game, and thank you again for having me. Appreciate you and appreciate everybody else listening here too. So
Yeah, thank you, Bernes, very much. And guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in next one.